Hello, my name is Ian Nicholson of BIReady Australia. It's just coming up to, there we go, 10 past 9 p.m. in Sydney, and I'm going to give you a very quick demonstration of BIReady Data Warehouse Automation, and I'm going to build for you a Data Vault architectured enterprise data warehouse and a star-schema data mart using the Northwinds database as the source. So without further ado, let's dive straight in. So here's the BIReady user interface. So as you can see, I've got a project open called Demo. My repository where BIReady keeps its metadata is currently empty. I've got no data warehouse tables and no data mart tables. So I'll just quickly select my environments. And as you can see here, I've got my repository set up in my SQL Server database. And if I test that, I can see that that connection is live. And so same for the data warehouse. Now, by the way, I can choose any of these database technologies for my target repository or data warehouse. So we cover SQL Server, Oracle, DB2, Netezza, Teradata, and even MySQL. So I'm just going to take the SQL Server and test that. And we're good. And my source, as I mentioned, is going to be Northwinds, which is in Access. And we'll just quickly test that. And as you can see, we're good to go. So the way that BIReady works, it designs a target data warehouse from the model of your source or sources. So when we do this, we can either model the source in BIReady's own rudimentary data modeler. We can import from Irwin, if we're using Irwin, of course. Or if the referential integrity of the source is good, we can actually reverse engineer just as you would in Irwin or Power Designer or even Visio. So I'm just going to choose a reverse engineer option. I'm going to choose Northwind. So BIReady now scoots off and gets the table structures for Northwind, and here they are. So I'm going to simply, well, let me see first. So we've got the tables. I can look at the views, or I can look at both. Today I'm only going to concern myself with the tables, and I'm going to choose all of those. Now, at this stage, I can even modify my model further by editing a few things. So let's say in the employees, I don't want everything. I just want the last name, let's say the region, and who they report to. Okay. So now when I click on OK, BIReady is now going to reverse engineer the model of our data source. And here we go. It's going to save in the repository for me. Okay, so there we go. So it's all saved, and if I like, I can actually display that model with the attributes. And so BIReady launches in a browser the so I'm just trying to zoom that out. There we go. So there is our reverse engineered model of our Northwind source. Great. So that's our first step done. So now I've got my model, BIReady can design my data warehouse. So I just simply select Create New. And as you can see, the repository's got the 8 entities from the source in there. And now it's going to design for us a Data Vault architectured data warehouse. And off it goes. Now, just keep an eye on the time down here occasionally. I'm not pausing anything here, or there's no smoke and mirrors. It's actually real time. So there are my 21 data warehouse tables created. And again, I can display that as an EI diagram. And there is my, oh, there we go. There is my Data Vault architected target, which BIReady created in that few seconds. So there we go. It's all there. Very quick. Okay. So now I've got my target model. What I need to do now is simply populate it. So with BIReady, again, true data warehouse automation. We're going to generate the process instructions. which is in fact the ETL code or ELT code to now populate our data vault target. So BIReady creates a process instruction set called PI set 1. It's going to create a command script file here in this directory with this name. I can also choose some other options like from when I would like the data warehouse populated, so I can choose beginning of time, or I've got a couple of options there for incremental loads, or I can choose a specific time. So for example, if I want to populate my data warehouse with data since the beginning of the financial year, I can do that here too, but I'm just going to simply select start. And what BIReady is doing now is generating those process instructions to populate our data vault. So it does a few checks of the repository, keeping an eye on the time down there. It's still saying 9:15. It's now 9:16. And there we go. So in those, in less than a minute, we've generated 863 new instructions to populate our data vault. So let's populate it. So this utility here actually executes the PI set, which is now stored in that command file in that folder. Now this is the command script you'd actually put into your scheduler. So you can run that, every night or every hour, whatever you choose. So I'm just going to simply select OK. And now it's going to run those 863 process instructions. Some it can run in parallel, as you'd expect for a data vault. So there you can see we've got 12 running, 6, 4, 10, etc. And so there we go. So BIReady has successfully completed out of those 863, it's executed 552, skipped 311 because they're most likely to do with incremental loads, etc. And indeed, I can take a look at the log. And see what's been populated. So in that run number 1, and I can even actually view the contents of those tables straight away. There we go. And just have a quick look in the customers. There we go. So there's our customers satellite. Okay, so far so good. So now what I can do is, now that I've got my data warehouse populated, is to create a data mart. So the interesting thing here is to build a data mart with BIReady, it's just a wizard. So I just simply add. It generates a data mart name for me automatically, data mart 1, and now I can start the wizard. And all I need to do is just complete these 3 steps. So my first step is for the fact. So it's already chosen for me the order details, which is in fact what I want. If I go to dimensions now, here are all the things I can have as dimensions. If I deselect orders, you'll see it automatically selects the levels below, which is in fact what I want. And I'll just take suppliers and categories. So I'll just take the lot. And now I just need to choose a transaction date, and it's already taken order date for me. So that's great. So I could choose any one of these, but I'll take order date. Okay, so I click on OK, and BIReady is now creating the model for my data mart, which is now done. And I can actually view that. And here we go. So as you can see, in just a few minutes, so we started at 9:10, so in just 9 minutes I've gone from my source to data vault to data mart. Now the data mart model is there, but the tables aren't. So let's just do that very quickly. So you can see there's no data mart tables present. So I just simply create drop. Now the reason for that is, of course, with data marts you can choose if you would like a physical or virtual data mart views, if you like. So I'm going to pick physical. So when I click on Start, BIReady is now going to create the table structure for me in the target warehouse, which is of course on the SQL Server. And there we go. So I've got 7 tables present. And now what I can do is generate the process instructions to populate those as well. So this time around, I'm going to choose for my data mart. And when it comes to populating the data mart, I can actually choose if I want to build the fact table, selectively build dimension tables, incremental load, full rebuild, whatever I want. There are some extra features, by the way. I should have shown these before. Extra functions there for the data warehouse, database techies among you, for configuring BIReady to your database preferences. But I'm just going to hit Start, and BIReady is now going to create the process instructions, or the ETL code, if you want to call it that, to populate the data mart from our data vault. So there we go. So BIReady just created 260 new instructions. We're 11 minutes into our demo. And so now if I just choose to populate those, so there's my data mart, there's my command script. I'm just going to hit OK. So in under 12 minutes, we have gone from source to data vault to data mart populated. Great. So again, if I look at the log, we can see our run number 2 has created these dimension tables and this fact table here. And again, I can view the contents of those tables just like that. It really could not be simpler. Okay, now BIReady comes with a feature called Data Shop, which basically allows us to take a star schema and expose it as a pivot table in Excel. So the purpose of this, of course, is that we can call it Data Shop 1. Oops, hang on, my keyboard not responding. Okay, just call it Data Shop. So you notice I've not touched my keyboard throughout this demonstration so far. So the idea of the data shop is that we can prove the model we've built to the business before we commit to BI development. So as you can see here, our root entity for the pivot table is already selected as all the details here. It's not the checkbox I'm looking at, it's the R here. So now I want to edit the things I want to pivot by. So let's say I want to take customer and let's say order date and the shipper company name and the freight, which is going to be a measure, which is money. So I want to set it to do 2 decimal places. And let's say I want to also look at, say, products and product categories. So my transaction date, let's say I take order date, okay, and create. So my keyboard work, there we go, Data Shop 1. So here comes Excel, and here's our pivot table. So let me just enable that and pick my field list. So let's say I want to analyze freight by shipping company and product category. And there we go. So in less than 15 minutes, I've built an enterprise data warehouse in Data Vault and a star schema data mart and a pivot table to show to the business in 15 minutes. So that concludes the demonstration for today. Stay tuned. In our next demo, we'll be showing you how to combine multiple data sources in BIReady and maybe some other little goodies as well. But for now, thank you very much. And if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to contact us via our website. So if you're in Australia, that's BIReady.com.au. And for the rest of the world, BIReady.com. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.